This week, our theme, the primal pillar that we are addressing, is expanding your awareness. This is essentially the definition of yoga, about creating that harmony between the mind, body, and spirit through the practice of yoga and meditation and breath work, is that we're developing this expanded awareness of the self, of the immediate environment around us, as well as the entire universe. I could go down the whole path of being a psychedelic yoga hippie and tell you that we're all connected. Each and every atom is entangled. What happens on the other side of the world, it directly affects me, my consciousness, my awareness. But for what we're trying to talk about, it is simply expanding your awareness of self, the ability to tune into your body, understand the language that your body, mind, spirit speaks. Right? A lot of times we drown out that inner voice. We numb our emotional pain through vices, external validation, dopamine, instant gratification, things like going out to the bar. We all have that friend that always has to have music on, always watching something on their phone, doom scrolling, watching TV, just complete stimulation overload. Whether they're unable to listen to their thoughts, they don't know how to connect with them. When we talk about expanding your awareness, it's simply the ability to sit with yourself, to be able to acknowledge any thoughts and emotions that you have, but understand that you aren't your thoughts, that you can appreciate this opportunity for free will, for decision making, but it does not define you. So as we have thoughts and emotions and all these things going on around us, we simply let it go. We release. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and tell you at every point in my life and every day that I do that, but it's a practice, it's an understanding along the journey of expanded awareness. So let's get primal, and don't forget, we're expanding our awareness. All right, hand up. I will admit, I slacked this week. I forgot to upload my video on Thursday, my yoga flow. I let the day get away from me, forgot to do it, and then on Friday realized I forgot. So thought about uploading, but I think we'll just push it off to next Thursday and we'll get back to it. But we're staying consistent on Sundays. This video will be uploaded. I'm recording this right before I edit and post it, so this is as raw as I can get, almost, besides being live stream. Let's get into it. Today, this week, our theme has been expanding your awareness. When I say and talk about expanding your awareness, this is different from living intentionally, like we talked about last week, where living intentionally was being aware of the consequences of your decisions. For me, the way that I look at expanding your awareness, it is an innate ability to listen to your body, to understand the environment around you, consciousness, the energies, the vibrations, right? I'm not talking about witchcraft. I'm talking about understanding the language that your body speaks, that your mind speaks, that your soul speaks. This is the basis of yoga. This is what I just talked about in the last clip, is you're able to turn within yourself. For example, when I'm teaching a yoga class, I try to constantly remind the students that while we're going through this practice, you should be spreading your awareness throughout your body. And maybe there's a pose or a movement that really emphasizes something like opening your back, working your hip, expanding your collarbones, broadening your chest. In these specific movements, I might remind my students to, let's try to focus our awareness on that area of your body. We're looking for those areas, the points of tension and trauma, or the areas that feel really good. And being able to recognize that within ourselves. And that's an innate ability. A lot of people, it's not a skill they have. It's something you have to practice and work on through your meditation, your breath work, your yoga practice. And we've explained before, and maybe you've heard before, yoga is much more than simply working through and holding poses, but it's a philosophy, it's a lifestyle that we adopt and we live by. We adapt it to fit our needs. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been doing long runs on Thursdays. I'm training for the Chicago Marathon. Just really started amping it up as the weather's gotten a little bit nicer, because we all know nobody wants to run outside in the cold unless you're a psycho. And some may think classify me as a psycho, but I still won't run outside in the cold. In the process of doing these long runs, it has been a great opportunity to expand my awareness, because when you put your body through a stressful situation, you notice your reactions to that. Where something like a long run where you're physically exerting yourself over a long period of time, it's a difficult experience. You have to push your body and your mind through something hard. It's not a one-dimensional process. And something that I've noticed over these last 2 weeks is that pretty early on in the run, my body will start to ache. My feet will hurt, my ankles, my calves, maybe even my shoulders and my neck. It's these little things where you're like, it hurts to push, to keep moving forward. But you overcome that. It's a mental block. It's a limitation that you've placed upon yourself. Over time, now that I've recognized that pattern, is that I know that, yeah, it's a little bit of pain, but I'll be fine when I push through it. You get through that first mile, the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are going to be much easier. You might even realize that that first mile is tough. The next 2 are easy. Then the 4th one's a little more difficult. But then the 5th, 6th, 7th are easy. So there's these patterns that you recognize about yourself, within your body, within your mind. Is there a moment in your run when your mind is begging you to stop? Maybe your body feels fine. Your legs aren't even that tired. You're not even out of breath. But your mind is tired of the run. Maybe it's redundant. But these are those mental blocks, the self-imposed limitations that when you power through, you've unlocked new area within yourself that maybe were not accessible before. We focus a lot on the physicality of it, but you can transition this into just about any realm of life. Anything where you're pushing through discomfort is something that is going to expand your awareness, providing you that innate ability to understand. A lot of times people talk about trusting their intuition. If your intuition is dominated by ego, generally you might find yourself dominated by fear, by anxiety, by stress. One of the things that I try to preach through Primal Lifestyle is that you need to break yourself down into your most primal form. That is understanding your body, your mind, and your soul in a very basic way, where when you feel emotions or you feel pain and aches in your body, that it's easy to identify what that is, why you're feeling that way. What does it really mean, and how can I move beyond it? Then as we begin to build up that process, build yourself back up into a more complex form, training for specific goals. You're able to trust that intuition a lot more because you understand it from a basic point. Not from this ego that has been shaped by societal concepts, by the opinions of other people, by external validation. Right? You're now using your most honest, authentic, and truthful self. You've aligned with a purpose that you're working toward. You've set up your own primal pillars, your primal code, which is what we're going through right now, to be able to live by, make decisions by, and be excited about life. Coffee break. Lost my train of thought, so we're gonna jump in at another point. Shout out Tanjiro Kamado, sun breathing. Now as we choose to continue down this path, right, you've been watching these videos, you're interested in what the primal lifestyle is, what these primal pillars really mean. It's an opportunity for you to really get to know who you are, get to know yourself. I think expanded awareness and intentional living go together because one is a very conscious way of living. It's very direct. You are actively making decisions and researching and understanding the external world, right? Where the expanded awareness is that internal ability, that innate, something that you have, you can create, you can develop, but everybody has some level of awareness, right? You talk about an NPC, somebody that doesn't seem to really think things through. We all know people like that in our lives. So we take last week's pillar, intentional living, we combine it with expanded awareness, you're creating a full spectrum of self. That's what the primal pillars are designed to do, is to help you develop your entire self. We don't live in one dimension. We all have multiple dimensions to ourselves, to our individual, to the perspective that we have over the universe. And then there's even more dimensions that go into how you fit into the community that you're in, the universe that you're a part of. Some people do it extremely well. Subconsciously, they don't even have to think about it. Some people have to really develop that skill. And it's just the way life works, the way each of us have drawn a card out of a hand when we were born. This is the life that we have to live. Your body, your mind, and your soul are the only things that you have any sort of control over. Why would you give that control up to something else? Why would you let the external control you? We should all be constantly aiming to take back the power, aim for mastery of self. That's going to wrap up this video. Once again, a rant, a yap, a riff. We just went for it. All right, it'll be cut up. We'll see how the final product turns out. I think there was some good stuff in there. Hopefully you do too. We'll see you next time. Let's get primal.